Welcome to the largest nationwide protest in American history. No Kings 3! We're here today to say that we, the people, govern America, not kings, not dictators, not billionaires, and certainly not some grifter selling MAGA merch while cheating at golf in Florida. The organizer of this event, Worcester County Indivisible Alliance, invites all of you to participate in our working groups, expert seminars, and Friday coffee houses at Acoustic Java right down the street. We always have activities that make you feel and hopefully do make an impact, like our letter to Maura Healey, which is designed to protect the elections which are coming up. But here in Massachusetts, we're proud to have the oldest functioning constitution in the world. And when the founders gathered in Philadelphia, they used ours as a blueprint for the United States Constitution. But now we have a regime in Washington whose goal is to divide us from the federal level right down to the family level. They want to divide and conquer us so they can destroy the Constitution that guarantees our rights and freedom. I've seen this tactic used many times over the years by criminals in other countries to take over democracies and turn them into dictatorships. But our parents handed a democracy to us, and we're not going to hand a dictatorship to our children. It's not going to happen. Now, just for a minute, let me take you to the city of Manab, nestled in a beautiful valley just up from the Straits of Hormuz in Iran. On the morning of February 28th, exactly 1 month ago today, the parents of 150 girls have just dropped their daughters off at school. The US and Iran are at peace. Then, suddenly out of nowhere, an American missile packed with high explosive hits the school. This is the very first strike of the war, and the missile incinerates most of those schoolgirls. The panicked survivors huddle together in one of the few remaining rooms not engulfed in flames or reduced to rubble. Parents hurry back towards the school, desperate to save their precious daughters. That's when a second Tomahawk missile hits the school, killing those parents and any students left alive. Satellite data has confirmed that there was even a third strike on that school. Now, in the months before committing that war crime, Donald J. Trump eliminated the Pentagon department dedicated to reducing civil casualties. He just got rid of it. So I see the blood of those children is on his hands and on the hands of his ridiculous poser, Pete Hegseth. When you combine the insanity of Trump with the incompetence of Hegseth, you get the decision to burn down an elementary school full of children as the opening attack for your war. Now, the founders of our nation knew that going to war is the single most important decision that the country can make. And so they stated in the Constitution that only the people, through their representatives in Congress, have the right to unleash our military. But now, we've arrived at a point where one man, a convicted criminal no less, can bomb 8,000 places in Iran and kill untold thousands without even telling us why he's doing it. When pressed, he cooked up the lie that Iran was 2 weeks away from having a nuclear weapon, but we weren't fooled because every single intelligence report determined that Iran was 10 years away from that. In fact, Ali Khamenei, supreme leader of Iran, issued a decree that forbids the development of nuclear weapons, claiming it's against the laws of Islam. Trump assassinated Khamenei in another insanely counterproductive and criminal move. We need to remember that before the joint attack by the US and Israel, professionals at the United Nations and elsewhere spent years in complex diplomatic negotiations to produce the Joint Comprehensive Plan, otherwise known as the Iran nuclear deal. It was the most comprehensive inspection and verification system ever devised to monitor a nuclear program, and it was signed by the US, Britain, China, France, Iran, Germany, Russia, and the European Union. Iran was clearly holding up its side of the deal and posed no threat to the United States. But Benjamin Netanyahu campaigned against it, and Trump tore it up. Iran is also a signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and subject to that regime. Meanwhile, Israel is not a signatory to the treaty and has never been inspected, even though it's commonly recognized as the only state in the Middle East to have nuclear weapons. So, Trump took the greatest military force ever assembled in world history and lost a war to a middle power in 1 week. Then he begged the world to save him, all while telling the media to lie about it or else. He's calling the war an excursion, like it's one of his many jaunts on Epstein's plane, the Lolita Express. But the war he started is now spinning out of control. Iranians who were protesting against their regime are now furious at the United States for destroying hospitals and homes across the country. And bombs have rained down in 14 other countries in the region since the initial attack. In Lebanon alone, 1 million refugees are fleeing from Netanyahu's bombing campaign. And Trump has now sent American troops on the way to the region. Trump and Netanyahu, what a pair, huh? What a pair. Two criminals who would both be on trial if not for their offices. And they've triggered a regional war that could engulf the world. So let's talk for just a second about the real reasons Trump started his war, the ones you won't see in the billionaire-owned media. First off, oil money from the petrostates of the Middle East has been flowing directly into his pockets to the tune of $1.4 billion since returning to the presidency. So we see why he hates renewable energy. Oil is also behind Netanyahu's strategy. Last week, he personally confirmed his intention to build pipelines through Israel to the Mediterranean that bypass the Straits of Hormuz, giving him control over the flow of energy. So it's in his interest to close the straits, and he's done it. His carpet bombing of Gaza, killing 80,000 people and wounding 141,000 more, was just a prelude to this expanded war. The attack in Iran has also enriched Russia with oil money and allowed Putin to continue funding his own illegal war against Ukraine. So the warmongering in the Middle East allows the warmongering in Europe to continue. Reason number two, Trump is trying to divert attention from the fact that he illegally redacted the Epstein files, and he continues to withhold thousands of those files, photos, and videotapes. We can imagine why, right? And perhaps worst of all, reason number three, he could use the war as an excuse to sabotage the midterm elections, thereby staying in power and out of jail. In a recipe for disaster, he eliminated our own anti-terrorism units before launching his war on a nation fully capable of terrorism. He also disbanded the Foreign Influence Task Force, responsible for safeguarding our elections from foreign interference. So we have to be prepared for him to interfere with the elections at the last minute, and also for him to try to prevent the peaceful transfer of power, just as he tried to do on January 6th, 2021. So from the beginning, Operation Epic Fury has been nothing but a mistake of epic proportions. Our defense budget is already a record $1 trillion, but Trump wants another $200 billion to fund his war. No. Instead of health care for our children, he's using our money to incinerate children 6,000 miles away. Just as a reminder, the last time our country declared war was all the way back in 1942. Yet since then, presidents have led us into one disastrous war after another without the consent of the people. It's become obvious that when presidents decide to go to war, we lose. But when the people decide to go to war, we win. And war must be declared before any military action can be taken. Before they drop one bomb, before they put one boot on the ground, they must get our consent. The decision to allow our military to unleash death and destruction cannot be left to the whims of one man. We can take that power back this year by voting out the MAGA sycophants in both houses of Congress and then impeaching and convicting this president. It's going to be a tough fight, but I believe in us. And when he's gone, we'll be doing double duty. We need to prosecute those who broke the law and take back their ill-gotten gains while simultaneously reimagining and building a better America. An America free from big money controlling our government. An America free from a tax system that turns billionaires into multi-billionaires and the middle class into the working poor. An America free from the addiction to fossil fuels that poison our water, air, and land. Free from the international criminal networks and foreign interests that influence our elections. And free from ruinous wars started without our consent. Let's see if we can make them hear us a little bit right now. No kings, no war. 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 Thank you.